Hi, welcome back to Thislovelystitch. On this channel, we create what we love and explore the creative process. For today's video, I am going to be trying out a kit. So this kit is from Five Below. What kind of inspired me to look at this kit is because I've seen so many woobles and like kind of wooble alternatives to crochet kits, but this one stood out to me because it's actually knitting. So you can see the knitting needles here. So yeah, I've never seen a knitting kit like this, so I think it'll be interesting to see if it's as easy as like a bunch of the crochet kits that I see now. They're like everywhere. They're like Walmart, Michael's, I've even seen them at Target. So yeah, anyway, the one I picked up, they had a lot of different ones, but I picked up this one. It's called the Itty Bitty Knit Kit, and it's Piping Hot Cup of Tea. So this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what the materials say on the back, but yeah, it says that it's easy and fascinating, perfect for beginners. The age range for it is 8+. Let's see. They do have a video link on their website, so I'll take a look at that too. And according to the box, it includes 2 plastic knitting needles, acrylic yarn, plastic yarn needle, 3 felt stickers, 2 felt pieces, polyester fiber fill, and full color instructions. So we'll see if this kit is worth it. I'm definitely not a knit beginner. So we'll see if this kit, if I think it's going to be very beginner friendly. If I remember correctly, I think my first beginner knit project was a washcloth, and then I made a scarf. I made the scarf in the summer, but it turned out okay. So I don't know. It does look kind of circular, so I'm interested to see how they plan on doing that. So let me go overhead so you can see like all the stuff and materials and how it's just packaged. Okay, so opening it up, we have this. Let me move you back a little bit. We have that little bag, this yarn, and the instructions. So yeah, it's pretty small. That's everything that's in the box. Okay, so we have the instruction booklet. I'm not going to show the whole thing just because it is their pattern and whatnot, but this is what the table of contents looks like. So yeah, I'd say the pictures, okay, this isn't really showing the pattern, but the pictures are pretty clear, so that's good. I do like that they have it in color. That's nice, a nice touch. Okay, so I'm gonna read through the directions real quick just to see. Well, first, oh my gosh, there's so many different parts. Let me find the actual knitting needles. Okay, so you have this brown bag. Oh wow. Okay, so these knitting needles are small, so you can see it doesn't actually say what size they are. I would say this is probably like a 4.5 millimeter if I had to guess, but these are small. For perspective, here is, okay, this is like a little lotion from Bath & Body Works. You can see it's like the length of one of these lotions almost perfectly. Wow, I did not plan that, but yeah, so they're definitely small. I don't know if that'll be easier or harder for a beginner. And then they have this red tapestry needle. You can kind of see it here. I'd say this is like pretty much a normal tapestry needle. Here are the felt pieces. So yeah, they're cute. I think that's a cute touch. Makes it easier than trying to learn how to knit and also do embroidery at the same time. All right, so I'm gonna read through the directions, and then I'll come back with what I think of the directions and actually start knitting. Okay, so I just finished reading the directions, and so far they make sense. I do like that I do like that they have left and right handed directions, and it's not just like flipped over. As someone who's a lefty, it makes sense to me as a lefty. Excuse me. Sometimes I find that knitting patterns don't really make sense when you switch them right to left. Like when I first learned to knit, I learned how to knit right-handed just because knitting left-handed was so difficult. But I feel like these directions are pretty clear. And it goes through all the basics. It goes through how to make a slip knot, cast on, knit stitch, all of that. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna get started. Honestly, I think this will actually be pretty quick. Cause yeah, pretty much you're making, without going into like too many details, you're making 3 rectangles, a pink one for the actual cup. It says brown, but I have red yarn, so I think I guess the colors may vary a little bit depending on which pack you pick up. So red yarn for the base, and then one more that's like the top kind of. So anywho, going to get started on that and just working on it. Another like touch that I do like is that the inside of the like booklet, the seam, actually has measuring on here. So it has like little lines to show you an inch, 3/4 of an inch, all of that. So I think that's really nice. I think it's good that you can see that, just because like as someone who's a crafter, I have way too many tape measures and just like normal standard school rulers. But if you're just starting to knit or crochet, I can imagine that that's something you probably don't own in your house. So it's good that they already have a measurement tool just kind of on here. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to get started. I am going to time myself just to see how long it takes. I do think that this is a relatively quick project for me because I already know how to knit. I'm not sure how long it would take if you didn't know how to knit, but I can't imagine it'd be that long. So anyway, gonna get started. I'll come back once I've made all 3 of the different squares and then show how I'm seaming them together. Okay, it's been about 12 minutes and I'm already frustrated. So this is for the largest square. The needles definitely need to be longer. Me as an experienced knitter am getting irritated with stitches slipping off and it just being so short, and I'm trying to stay true to the pattern and not just slip these stitches onto one of my normal size knitting needles. But yeah, I can definitely see if I was a beginner doing this, like look how bunched up these stitches are. So we'll see. This is the largest rectangle, so maybe that's why, but my gauge is good. I don't really have like super loose or super tight stitches in general as a knitter, and I've tried knitting tighter, tried knitting looser to try to make them fit on better, but as you can see, there's just way too many stitches for this length of needle. But that's okay. I'm gonna persevere. I'm gonna continue using the supplies they gave, even though this is not good at all. And yeah, finish this square. I'll come up with an update when I finish this and get to the next square. But yeah, the 12 minutes, it would not take me 12 minutes if this was like a normal needle, because like half the time I would say that I've spent so far has been picking up slip stitches and just like trying to push and shove all these stitches onto the little itty bitty baby needle. So gonna continue working on this. I do think the end outcome will be cute, so just have to suffer through this part. Okay, so I'm back. You can see how crazy this looks. They do not give you long enough needles. I have struggled through. Let's see what time it is. Wait, let me pause my timer. Ugh. Okay. This is 35 minutes of work. It took me forever because these stitches fall off, and these are kid-sized needles. Even if you had small hands and you were a child, this still is not good. So anyway, I'm gonna cast off on this rectangle. I have 2 more rectangles to make, and they should be smaller than this one, so that's a comfort. And then just assembling it. So I think just to switch it up and take a little break, I think I'm gonna work on the red square. But yeah, this is what is left, and there is one more pink square. So we'll see if that's actually enough yarn. One thing the kit doesn't come with is scissors. I'm realizing that now, but I'll get a pair of scissors and cut this. So square number 1, gonna start working on square number 2, and I'll come back when I'm done with that one. Okay, not quite done yet, but I am done with the second square. This one was definitely much faster. So yeah, pretty much you're gonna like sew this together. So yeah, I think it is good that it's a bunch of rectangles so you don't have to work in the round. And I didn't really have any problems making this square, and I think that's because, like, as you can see, it clearly is more meant for this size needle versus this one. This is how long the fabric was, and this is how short the needle is. So that's crazy. But the last square is or last rectangle I should say, is the smallest, and it's another pink one. So this is the amount of pink yarn I have left. Oh, and before I forget, this is the amount of red yarn I have left. So not a lot. Yeah, not a ton, but enough to finish. So that's all that matters really. So yeah, I'm gonna work on this last square and then seam it together, and we'll see how well it just comes together. But so far so good. I would say the instructions are very easy to work with. It's just kind of the needles that's the only problem I'm running into. But even that, I think as a beginner, anything you try is going to be difficult, but this is manageable. So it's not easy, but nothing worth doing is ever easy. So it's worth doing so far, but we'll see. So yeah, I'm casting on for that last square, and then we will give our final review. Okay, so I have all three pieces now. Definitely not necessarily seeing how this is going to become a teacup or a coffee cup, but I'm going to start assembling it. Just read the pattern instructions one more time to make sure I'm doing it right. And yeah, just put this together, and then I'll come back when I have the finished project. And I'll just say my final review, final thoughts, how easy I think it is, do I recommend this? But yeah, an update on time. I think I keep forgetting to do that. We are at an hour so far. So not too bad time-wise, but I'm gonna go finish doing this now. Okay, I'm so close to being done. It's definitely wonky, but it's something. Maybe it'll come together more when I put the face on. So just getting the felt pieces, because I have like everything everywhere. Okay. Wait, did I do something wrong? Okay, no, I thought I did something wrong. Okay, so I have this T label to add, and then the face, and then I'm done. So I'm gonna do that. I don't think it is the worst. It could be worse. Kind of cute. So yeah, let's add the little felt pieces. Okay, drum roll please. Here is the finished teacup. So you can see the, not flame, spill if you want to call it that. There's a little tag here. Yeah, I think it's pretty cute. It's definitely something. I think if this was actually like my first project, I'd be happier. But yeah, I think it's cute. In total, it took me 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 18 seconds. So not bad. I think if it was a beginner, just to be safe, I would like double the time, so maybe 3 hours to do. But as someone who is an experienced knitter, I've been knitting for like 10 years now, I did this all in one sitting and it was fine. So yeah, the only thing that was frustrating, I think I've said this a million times now, was the tiny knitting needles. So all in all, if I had to rate the pattern, I would give it a 3 out of 5. It's not horrible, but this is also the only knitting kit thing that I've tried, so I don't really have something to compare it to. But I can imagine that there's worse and that there's better. I do like that all the supplies were in it. The directions were very clear. I like that they had right and left-handed directions, and it wasn't just like, oh, we just flipped it around and that's left-handed directions. So as a lefty, I appreciate that. And I think for $7, which is how much the kit was for me in the US, you can't really beat that. So yeah, all in all, I would say good project, 3 out of 5 kit, and just a covering of like what I have left, in addition to like some random yarn scraps that are just floating around. This is how much pink yarn I have left, so a good bit. And then this is how much red yarn I have left. So yeah. Anyway, that is the end of today's video. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and comment down below if there's any other knitting or crochet kits that I should try that you want to see a review of. And I'll see you next week. Bye.